doing everything we can to make ourselves more proficient as communicators. We're in the business of talking to people. That's the business that we're in. So we're going to talk a little bit about the power of communication today, because once again, this is how we make our money. Is everybody in agreement?
Yes.
So I just want to, before I dive into this too much, let me ask, when was the last time you read a book, watched a documentary, watched one of these motivated speakers like Tony Evans, Tony Robbins, any of them, in order to listen to how people are communicating and to mimic or follow the process to become a more proficient, more dynamic communicator? We're all in the business of sales. When was the last time you stopped to invest in yourself and listen to what you're saying? Listen to how other people are saying the same thing and determine whether or not you need to polish your word choice, your canter, whatever it is to communicate effectively with the clients that you're speaking with. I was really challenged this week by conversations both with Clayton and with Ken, and listening to what they said in their own styles. And it's like, boy, I got to really up my game in what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. And so I want to spend just a little bit of time as we go through this presentation here on just encouraging everybody. Take a moment, look in the mirror, and see, what image are you projecting to people? What image, what kind of person are you projecting to your clients? Especially in a digital age where we're all on a Zoom screen together. We're not in a room together. I can't see Stan's leg and how bad it hurts. I can't, I'm not there with Michelle to know all of her challenges that she's facing right this minute. Heck, we don't even know if Mr. Clayton is actually wearing pants, right? So, just saying.
We do know he is not wearing pants.
I'm not. I'm literally not wearing pants. That is honest.
But my point is, people will only see and know what's projected unless we are inquisitive enough, unless we are savvy enough to ask about the rest of the details or project those details. So that's really what today's focus is, because when we meet with our clients, what are our goals? Our goals are to sell something. So we need to build confidence in your services as a financial professional. We need to engage our audience with our solutions and resolutions, right? We need to make sure that what we're presenting to them meets their goals and their resolutions, we're ultimately where they want to be. And for us, I think a lot of times we're so busy in the sale that we don't slow down long enough to make sure that we've got the eye contact. Like when you're sitting across the table from somebody, it's much easier to see if they're following along than it is to communicate with somebody via share screen. We're down to less than half of the indicators that you have in a sales. Look at a person's eyes to be able to check, because not everybody turns their cameras on, let's be honest. We don't have the ability to look and see, they're looking on the other side of the room at something else that's more important or less important. Are they on their phone watching something, or do they have the background TV on? How many of you have ever been in a situation trying to sell a policy with the TV running in the background and it's louder than you? Anybody else?
Yeah, I actually asked them to turn it off.
I do this. I do the
What
same.
are we
If there's disruption, I just let them know, hey, do we need to reschedule this, or what's going on?
Exactly. Because what we all are on this call, we are all financial professionals. I want you to get that into your head. You're not a life insurance agent. You're not a life insurance salesman or woman.
No.
You're a financial professional. Your time is valuable. The question I have in our conversation today, and as much as engagement as possible, please, Ken, Clayton, anybody, right? What do your clients know about what you do? And this stems from a conversation I had with Ken. Ken, if you would take a moment and just share about your neighbor that you had.
I'm sorry.
Do you remember the neighbor that came over that you told me about that, it's like, why don't you tell all the people all these things that you do, listen to your phone calls and your conversation?
Yeah, it was funny. We got together, we were talking about something, and he basically asked me, and he's lived across from me for a while, and he says, what do you do? And I explained to him a little bit, then I explained a little bit more in detail. He goes, I didn't know you did that. And that's sad because he's my neighbor, and he's been my neighbor for a really long time. I also have another neighbor that she found out who I was and what I do, and now I got her some Medicare cases, helped her with Medicare. I don't do it. I gave her to somebody else. But um, the thing about people understanding who you are is so important. I was taught a lesson by one of my mentors not too long ago. Actually, it was more than a few years ago. And he says to me, I want you to contact 10 of your clients and ask them what you do. I was shocked. I literally got 10 different answers. So this is stuff that we really have to work on.
I appreciate that a lot. This is why I'm bringing this up, because after listening,
We have that,
after
we have
listening,
that challenge at my church, as I think is as much as long as I've been there. I don't really have a lot of clients, really through there. And I struggle with that because like I had this woman we talked about, she's a member of my church. And you know,
why do
I
you think that is,
I
Gerald?
don't
Why do you
know.
think you
I
don't
don't
have
know.
that?
I don't know what it is. It seems like there's one guy in there that seems to get that they call him he does a lot of some of the financial classes there. But I mean, it's not a small church. I mean, there could be more than one guy. But I'm going to be participating in a meeting next week. My wife is the head of the senior ministry here, and it's going to be on estate planning. So she has somebody else for coming in to doing that, but I'm going to be there because obviously I have the estate guru thing. So I'm going to be getting more involved in that. So maybe that might be start of something, but it's been an enigma to me.
So I appreciate that a lot, Gerald. So Ken, like Ken said here, his mentor had him call 10 of his clients to get some perspective. And I'm not going to challenge everybody to do the same thing, but I will say this. When you sit down with your clients and you do your annual review or once every 2-year reviews, depending on how good the market is, right? Um, are you letting them know all of the financial services that you can provide? Or is your window and the scope of a light that you're casting on yourself so narrow, so defined that they think you only do one, maybe two things? You sell life insurance and health insurance. But everybody on this call, you're a financial professional. We're going to go through some of the stuff that we do on this in just a minute. You provide a lot of services. You have the capacity to provide many more than you currently are providing. You just don't know that that's what it's called. You have to learn the language, the vernacular. And that's why I'm challenging us in the communication aspect today. What are you telling people that you do? Does anybody on here know what a black swan event is?
Yes. COVID was a black swan event.
Okay, could you give me a definition of it?
Something that is abnormal that happens. I don't know, God. An abnormal event that happens.
We'll call it a rare life-changing event. Okay.
Yeah.
A rare life-changing event. when those rare life-changing events, somebody gets in a car accident and is incapacitated, somebody dies, somebody inherits money from a rich uncle they didn't know they had. When these events happen, do they know to call you? Can you help them? Do they know that you can help them? Even on your existing clients, do they know to call you when these black swan events occur?
Delta Rogers.
So let me ask you, I just listed a few things here. Are you just a health, I'm sorry, Miss Hypo there. Are you just a health or life agent that just sells life insurance? Are you just a health insurance agent? Do you just sell annuities? Do you just sell Medicare? Do you just sell estate planning documents? Do you just sell group benefits? Or are you a financial services professional and your services include life and health insurance, annuities and retirement planning, estate planning, debt elimination solutions, group and small business solutions, reduce taxable income for business owners and individuals? I could go on and on and on. Do you understand the difference in communication that I just showed you on the screen? So the challenge today is stop communicating like the right side of the screen, that you just do this or you just do that. Michelle, you're a financial services professional that provides life and health insurance and Medicare solutions. You do annuities and retirement planning. Michelle, you provide estate planning services. You do debt elimination solutions. You can help businesses reduce their taxable consequences and supply additional plans for CPAs. That's what you do, Michelle. We need to start putting this into our minds and our vernacular. And I do apologize for typos. I threw this together last night. I want this to come out that we need to change how our clients are perceiving us. And how does that happen? That only happens by what they see, what we show them, right? Going back to the conversation, what we can see on the Zoom, right? Anything below here, you can't see. So what are we showing them? Do you have a business card that shows these services? Do you have a brochure that reflects this? Do you have a video that reflects this? Some of you know about some of our video brochures. That's all I'm going to say on that right now. There's a lot of other really fun things and ways to be able to list out what you do. Do you have a landing page with a QR code that is on your business card that you can give to somebody, they can look and see all the different services you provide? Do you have a little short video that you recorded either with myself, my team, or with somebody else on YouTube that talks about all the services that you provide? Is it valuable for people to be able to find you and know what you do? We're up against technology. We're up against AI. And what is the perception of AI, Mr. Stan? What can AI do, Mr. Stan, in your words?
AI takes a lot of the, I'd say, redundant information out there, and it could put it into a concise and precise type of communication. And things that we're not certain of, AI can pull that information for us. So it kind of fills the gaps in our knowledge base, or wherever we have a team or something where it's lacking, it can help in a pinch.
That's certainly how it can help us. But let me rephrase the question. Is AI in a box?
No.
The only box that it is in is the one you put it in. So if you can think of the
Right.
question to ask, then it can answer it.
Exactly. And the same is true for the information. People are looking to AI for the answers. They're looking to AI for the answers. It can be whatever it needs to be, and people are seeking it out because it can find them the answers. Are you going to be that service that can provide the answers to your clients? Are you that place where people can go to know that they're going to have their financial questions addressed, solutions presented, and solutions that are in their best interest? Communication is key. We talked a little bit about black swan events. Black swan events, death claims with life insurance policies, incapacitation, estate planning, document service, things that are going to happen in life. These are not things that people typically experience more than once. But these are life-changing events that happen. Accidents affecting health and income. What are you doing to help your clients prepare and know that you can provide that service to help them prepare for the unforeseen, the extremely rare, the weird things that are going to happen in life that are one-off? You're there to provide financial lifeguard services. Are you painting a picture like that for your clients? Are you educating them on all the things that you can do? Protect them from market volatility, adjust, inflation adjusted income, help them with tax write-offs. Can you help them understand the value that you have and the services that you provide? If not, then it's time to engage those people. It's time to call back through that client file and let them know, hey, just doing a review. I've got a couple of new services that I provide to my clients. Just wanted to see if any of these services you might be looking for them, or they might help you at this time. I used to laugh at the agents that did the client-focused dinners, and I still think it's a little hokey. But I'll be honest. The more I'm in this business, the more I realize, no, actually, that's pretty smart. Because just like Ken said, you've got 10 clients who see 10 different you. Pulling those people together and talk about the different services that you've provided and ways that you can help. You're not there promoting yourself entirely, are you? You're letting the clients come in and provide. And maybe that's something to think about doing, and having a lunch or a dinner where you're inviting some clients as an appreciation, and make it a requirement. Hey, you need to bring over 2 more people, and that's your ticket in, right? But there is a way to take advantage of others promoting you without them really knowing that they're promoting you. That's where the savvy communicator is going to play the ball, right? And have questions, key people at each table that you can ask or reflect with about how you help them. And then just let them talk to everybody else at the table. There's a way of us doing this rather than me promoting myself and all the things that I do, to be in a position where I let other people talk. So if you're not comfortable recording the video and doing it yourself, then find a way to have an intermediary. Find a way to have somebody else as a testimonial to engage with others on your behalf. And now we're going to shift into our sales focus. So I've started doing this when I have recruiting calls or when I talk with people. There's 2 things we're going to have on this call. We're going to learn. We're going to learn, number 1, can I help you? And number 2, do you want my help? I've been using this a lot more recently, and I like this a lot. Can I help you and do you want my help? Those are the questions. I have a lot of services that I provide. So we're going to go through and figure out if I can help you. And number 2, we're going to find out if the client is involved with enough people that maybe they don't need my service or don't want my help. They've got a broker who does everything. But there's some calls that, happened this week with people that, those brokers, they don't do anything, but the client's still in love with them. So it's going to answer the question, no, really, I can help you. You just don't want my help. But then that helps us also focus on the communication. What do we need to say to run at the situation to change them from a cold to a hot, right? What kind of psychological conversation needs to be focused? Do we need to throw the broker under the bus? Or do we need to position the client in such a way as the bus will run the broker over? You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to do. How is he helping you? What is he giving to you? What services is he providing? Why do you like him? Is it because he took you out and played golf with you? Next Wednesday, I'm available. Is it because he sent you a goodie bag at Christmas? I can get you two at Easter. Oh, wait, that's really not why you like him, is it? It's because it's your brother-in-law. Well, do you do everything your brother-in-law says? You know, I'm going to go be more aggressive in my approach, more direct, if I know I can help them. They just don't know that they want my help yet, right? We need to understand the power of no. Sometimes we just have to walk away from things. And it's that walking away that builds confidence that we're not needy. And that's a hard one to learn, when to roll that. But it's just as important as the story that we're telling people. So we want to be able to tell people the story of our solutions. What can we provide them? What can we do? And then for most people, they want a co-opt solution. They want to be a part of the story. Everybody does. Every good storytelling, every movie, it's all about engaging the audience with the message that's being communicated, both on a subliminal level and an obvious, right? They want to be a part of this. Don't forget that aspect when you're trying to close these deals with the consumers. And so I bring up my good friend Aristotle. So we're going to talk about this for just a minute. And if you've not reviewed this in the last, I don't know, year or 2 years, I'm going to just encourage everybody to go look up the ethos, pathos, and logos triangle and learn about storytelling. I'm going to encourage everybody to do that this week. Spend a little time. Go on YouTube. There's about 16,000 videos on this. Pick one. Learn the balance and the art of storytelling. Now, I'll tell you what, this week, I've listened to more speeches from John F. Kennedy and Ronald Reagan and a few others. And it's how they're telling the stories, ladies and gentlemen, how they're selling the public. They're selling the public on this space. We will be the first to space. We will be the first on the moon. Why? Why does every man, woman, and child in the country need to give 50 cents for this? Because we're the pioneers and we're going to set the banner of freedom there first. He sold the idea and everybody bought it. And so I've spent a lot of time reviewing this, like I said, this week to understand our ethos, right? The credibility. What is your credibility? That's the ethos. Your moral character. What defines you as a professional? What's undermining you? The salesman aspect. We don't have enough credibility, right? The broker's got more credibility than you do. Why? Ethos. Pathos. The connection, experience, emotion. How much of that are you blending in the conversation? Are you spending the whole time talking about your ethos? Or are you spending some time about the emotional triggers that physically change people? We'll talk about that in just a second. And lastly is the trust, the logic, the statistics. That's your illustrations, your damn illustrations, and the lies that they all have in them. But people trust it because it's black and white and it's on paper. It's from a credible source. It's from a carrier. They're A-rated. But does the illustration sell the opportunity? Or is it the ethos and pathos of the agent, the storytelling and the credibility that ultimately closes the deal? And so I bring this up once again to try and focus our processes to reflect how to close more deals. That's the plain and simple. That's why we're here, right? Everybody's here to learn how to close more deals. And I just wanted to reflect on this, like I said, this week, because personally, I've just been applying this. Everybody starts out at their current position, right? This is where they are today. Then they have a desired result, right? They want to have tax-free income. They don't want to worry about market volatility. They want to have a will or trust in place. Doesn't matter what it is. That's the desired. Our process needs to consistently do three things. build trust, seek to create credibility, understand, and create and design the path to achieve the desired effect, right? Right there is our ethos, pathos, and logos. That's what our process needs to create. And it needs to be in balance. And here's the hard part for salespeople. We have to kind of change it up a little bit, the combination based off of how you present, how I present, how Ken presents. And we have to do this in a way that also communicates with on the receiving end to the personality type. This is not a simple process, everybody, but by polishing our tools and become more attentive to how we're speaking, we're going to be able to connect with more and more people. The best salesmen, women, are the ones who can communicate with the largest number of people effectively. They speak with confidence. They speak with authority. They speak with credibility. They can emotionally engage with storytelling, and they've got the statistics to back it up. That's what I want you all to be. Confident, competent storytellers. Learn to tell the story of what you're doing. So our process needs to do that. And we fix the problem, right? The problem and the needs are between where the client currently is and where they want to be. That's how we solve it.
Peter, what's key in doing all of those things? What
Practice.
most of our professionals don't understand is it's great to be a great speaker, but what most really good advisors miss is they don't know how to listen. They want to pitch, they want to talk. Listen, and they will give you what they need. They will tell you what they need. And that's how you design a solution, not what you want to give them.
Absolutely, Ken. That's following up on the process and understanding where it is, where are their goals, where are they trying to get, right? We've got this sales chart here that I put together. 10% of the facts of the sales presentation is logos, right? That's all. The facts is only 10%. 90% of the sales process is the emotion. So doing what Ken just said, asking for the trigger buttons. What are the pathos and ethos buttons that you need to push to chemically engage these people to have a physical result in a sale? Now, I'll say 10% of the population is the engineers. That's why the 10% is a part of this whole part, the equation here, right? The facts. What is a 401k? What is an IRA, 403b, 457 plan, value of real estate, annuity facts, how old the company is, the dry stuff, right? What are the emotional buttons that engage people? Taxes. Would you like to pay less? Do you want to pay more? The market risk, inflation, long-term care. Imagine being incapacitated and not having enough money to be able to pay for that. Telling a story with each one of these buttons. Look, you need to do this because this income, this is going to change your stress level. You're going to go from here down to here. Hey, listen, when you do buy this life insurance contract and have these living benefits, look, you can free up that money that you were setting aside for your kids' inheritance. This is going to allow you to be able to travel, use that money to be able to spend time with your grandkids while they're alive, while you're alive with them. Tell a story. That's our goal. And I bring this up because this is very important. A lot of people don't or haven't spent time looking at the core chemical, effects of psychology. Dopamine. Dopamine causes pleasure. It also causes motivation. How do you get that? Reward. Doing something positive. How's your storytelling that they're going from X situation to Y situation, and that betterment helps them achieve their goals? They're going to get pleasure off that. The body's going to start to kick out more dopamine. Saying the right trigger words, helping them understand that what they're doing is going to accomplish their goals, will trigger a physical response. Learning about oxytocin, right? How much oxytocin are your clients producing when they sit down with you? Are they trusting you? Do they love you? Or are they really like, yeah, I just can't wait till he leaves? The more you spend time listening and focusing in on what it is that's the driving force behind this client. And by listening, you're showing value and engagement. You're going to create more oxytocin, more trust. Mood and emotion, serotonin. Sometimes you walk into a situation that people are just in the wrong freaking mood that day. How do you change somebody's mood? Anybody?
Ask them the right questions and make them feel comfortable.
Go ahead.
Telling a joke.
That's one way to do it for
Well,
sure.
I'll
Give-
say this
give the-
affirmatively, it's not adding any adrenaline.
There you go. There you go.
Give
We
them
don't want
a,
to do that.
give them
Go
a sincere compliment.
That's a good one. I'll tell you, I used to sit down with teachers, and who's always the elementary school teachers, always. The elementary school teachers, they were shot by lunchtime. So if you had any afternoon appointments with elementary school teachers, you might as well just write that one as, yeah, this is just going to be a counseling session today. Because that's what it turned into. We would listen. But then honestly, I had opportunities. I'm a Christian. I had opportunities to pray with people. And by stopping and praying with people and asking for where they're feeling deficient, that created immediate trust, immediate mood change, immediate emotional change and engagement. Now there's a trust being built. There's reward from sitting with me. There's now positive emotions that are being driven out because I stopped and I prayed with somebody because I listened. And like Gerald said, we don't want to create more adrenaline.
You can say listening because that is some people just need to be listened to, which is a lot
Yes.
what you're saying.
Yes. And the last one is cortisol, right? The stress response. Is your meeting with the client causing them stress? Are you beating a dead horse? Are you making mincemeat out of your presentation? We need to know, we need to be able to gauge people's physical responses and say, okay, that's all we can do today, folks. We have to know when to stop because I think there's a lot of agents that just keep going at it, hoping that they're going to change the person's mind instead of recognizing where they are. And when they continue to pile it on, they're creating more cortisol and they're creating more adrenaline. They're either going to fight you about it or fly from it. So how do we focus our processes to communicate the right chemical responses with people? I want you to please this week take a little bit of time. Take a little bit of time to look for each one of these for opportunities to try and do a better job with your clients, right? Once again, our sales
Add to that,
process.
I think one of the things is not having what I've heard called commission breath, and giving people a space and time, to process what you're saying, and just talking with them. You can tell if they feel like they've been overloaded, and as opposed to just processing through or thinking like, I wouldn't get this sale this week, I think, well, like Ken said, listening to them, and I like to make my sales calls more of a conversation, more as opposed to like a presentation.
Yes. And here's what it's going to equate to, folks. Sales equal change. Sales equals change. We're asking people to change. Every single one of us. We're changing what they're currently doing to something completely different. Change is harder for some people than others. We're going to talk about changing their behavior, right? We're going to talk about, changing their perspective, right? Their belief. what is possible. No, it is possible to be able to protect your money from market volatility. No, it is possible for you to have guaranteed income that'll last the rest of your life and you won't have to go back to work. But here's what we got to do. We have to move you, reallocate where you're currently at to a different place. Then we're going to change the circumstances. Then we're going to get to the emotions. Buyer's remorse, everybody. The emotions, well, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? And the last one is going to be status. And the status change goes from where they were to the new place that they are, and being able to create a situation that's rewarding to them, whatever that, and that's what I forget to do. And I'm trying to do more of, is to go back to our first conversation. What is it that they were looking for? And how do we go back and say, okay, now you've done this. Now you've created the income that's going to let you do this. Now you've created the protection for your assets to do this. And I know it seems pretty basic, but as somebody who's out there selling, just like everybody else on this call, I can say, I don't do this enough. I need to do this more. I need to become better at this. Because when I listen to the other very popular motivational speakers out there and the other really good salespersons and salesmen, I'll tell you right off the bat, they're doing the same thing over and over again until they're taking the very basic and they're professionals at it. How do we do that with what we have going on here? Practice your responses. Instead of asking people, is that all the assets do you have? Do you have any money under management anywhere else? Instead of running at it in a fashion where you're asking them to disclose what they've got, and we don't have enough ethos. We don't have enough credibility with them. So we change that conversation around and ask them, hey, help me understand. You want to retire in 2 years from now, and you're saying these are all the assets that you have. Help me understand how you're going to retire. All of a sudden, I took the guard down, and they're going to let the cat out of the bag. If they've got other assets, well, I've got this money over here. You didn't tell me about that, right? Help me understand. I'm confused. How are you planning on doing this, right? Let them do the heavy lifting instead of you. Do you feel like you have enough money for retirement? And sit back and listen. What is your plan for your income shortfall? You plan on working longer? Do you have more, let them answer that question. But there's a huge difference emotionally from going right that, do you have more assets? Is this all you have? Are you looking at, you're going to create negative connotations, and it's going to create emotional responses in the client talking to them like that. We need to work with our vernacular and try and implement a better response. Ask a question. So let's talk real briefly here into the DISC personality profiles. And if you haven't taken time to do any of this, I would encourage every single one of you. This made a major difference in my personal production to be able to learn communication skills. And I'll just say this too. For those of you who are married, you'll understand this. No two families communicate the same way. So when you get married, you learn about how other families communicate. Sometimes I'm going to say it takes a whole lifetime to figure that out, being able to learn how to speak to your spouse. And the same is true. I can say what sure means in my family and my understanding, and what sure means in my wife's understanding. So when she says sure, it's saying one thing. When I hear it, it's meaning a totally different thing. Sure means I'll do it only because I have to, don't really want to. And sure on her side means, okay, sure, I'm happy to help with that. So on my side, it's negative. Her side, it's positive. We said the same exact word. So it's not only the culture, but it's also the personality type. So learning to identify people very quickly when you're having the opening conversation will allow you to figure out what kind of salesperson do you need to be? Do you need to be, talking to a business owner that's, a lot of them are D, some of them are DS, most of them are DC, direct and very much cautious. You're going to need to be more like Mr. Ken Lamantia, charge at the bull, grab it by the horns, and just, plop it down on the ground, because that's what it's going to take to get in front of business owners. They're in competition. They're the dominant person. They run their own successful corporation. They make millions of dollars. Why do they need to sit down with you? Anybody want to answer that? Why a business owner who makes millions of dollars and is successful needs to sit down with you?
You want to save some taxes, and they want to make sure that they have a way to retire. Biggest
Can you word that in a way that would sell to a business owner?
They don't do what we do.
If something happens to you, what happens to your business?
Okay, that's good.
Mm.
How about this? Hey, Brett, I know you got a multiple $1 million business here. You're doing about $15 million a year. Hey, listen, when was the last time your CPA showed you a way to save $250,000 every year going forward? And oh, by the way, that money could be used to supplement your retirement. Hey, Michelle, do you like paying more taxes every year as as we have a change in the government? Do you like every 4 years paying more and more taxes?
No.
Hey, Mr. Ken, I know you're a very successful Wall Street executive and you've got everything figured out. So let me ask this question. What would be the best way for a business owner to save more money in a tax-free vehicle for their retirements and have the ability to write that off? You must have found something in your successful career to be able to do that. Is everybody hearing me? I'm being very direct. I'm either going to play to they're the dominant, they already have everything figured out, or going to ask them why their CPA is screwing them over, why they enjoy paying more and more taxes every year. It's a very different conversation than what you're going to have with an I personality type, right? Kindergarten teachers. Hey, do you want to be, in retirement and have the ability to spend time with your kids and be able to donate time to the preschool? And, is that important to you to be able to be around people, be involved with your church? Listen, that's what we're focused on. How can we get you what you need to be taken care of so you can go take care of other people? Oftentimes I talk about, hey, in order to save somebody before, if you see somebody drowning, right, you can't jump in after them because they'll pull you under. So what I recommend that you do is, how about we put a life vest on you first? Then when you jump in to help people, to help your kids, to help other people, they can't pull you under. Does that make sense? Financially, that's what we're talking about doing here. We're talking about putting on a life jacket, a life vest, to protect you, your assets, your income, to make sure you can help your kids out. Make sure you can help out your church. Does that make sense? It's a different conversation. The point is, by learning how people communicate, we're able to begin to change our pitch, right? And this really comes down to the pathos, right? What is the convincing emotional story? What level of emotion do we need to have? How are we addressing this with people? Are they type D? I want it. I want it done. I want it done now. I don't care the cost. How are you going to get those people's attention? They could care less, you do something different than somebody else. I mean, they've got a whole room full of professionals at their beckoning call. Either you're going to have to make them look like an idiot or play to their egos. That's it. There is no other way in. So if you have the capacity like Brett, Brett, how many years have you been in the business?
33.
33. How many business owners have you worked with?
A bunch.
Give me a ballpark.
I don't know. 25.
Don't be modest.
50.
All right. So Brett's going to a business owner, right? Hey, what makes me different than everybody else? Listen, you operate one business and it's very successful and that's great. But listen, I've worked with over 100 business owners from different sectors of the industry, and I've found ways to help them and improve their bottom lines. And ultimately, you're in the business to make money, right? Are you going to give up a 45-minute conversation to learn how you can make more money in your business? Well, that's up to you. I'm certainly here to help you. I'm certainly here to provide. And I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm just going to show you how I can help you. How about that?
I'd take a different approach. I actually taught this to some of you all too. I told them when we meet, please give me a copy of your written retirement strategy. Give me a copy of your advanced tax planning. Give me a copy of your business exit strategy. And this way we're prepared when we go there. Why do you think I do that? I'm front loading everything that Peter just told you. I know they don't have these things. I walk in, and that is strategy. With Pete, that's communication. I have to go, but I want to ask you guys one thing before I go. Ask Peter what communication is, because it's not only verbal, it is also visual. It's also strategic. So he's going to show you more. Peter, I got that 1 o'clock appointment I have
Thanks,
to go
Ken.
to. I'm
Appreciate you
sorry.
coming in.
Bye-bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah.
So once again, I bring up all these personality types. If you're not familiar with this, look up DISC personality analysis online and become a little bit familiar with this. I'm asking, please. Because when you do the studies, you'll find there's a lot of information out there, a lot of information. Each one, what are they motivated by? What kind of words do you need to use? What are trigger words you need to include when you're talking to that particular person? Look at the difference between the D and the I as an example. These people are self-confident, direct, forceful, and risk-taking, right? What are they motivated by? Power, authority, competition, winning, and success. So any one of the plans that you present, the solutions, needs to include one of those words right there. The I type are motivated by social recognition. Hey, your church is going to appreciate your work. Hey, your school's going to appreciate that. Hey, your club is going to appreciate that. Listen, you're going to be able to help people. That's the relationship aspect. They want to help people. When we start talking about people who are steady or S-type personality, these are more people that work for the man, right? They're motivated by, their peers, cooperation. Hey, we're going to work together on this. We're going to help figure this out. I'm going to give you some things that you need to do, and you're going to follow up with me. They love that. I have the hardest time with C-type personalities just because I don't like engineers drive me nuts. I tell them up front, there's a limited amount of illustrations I will do for you. But here's what's going to happen. If I can show you a way to do it better than you're currently doing it, cost you less, and achieve the same results, will you agree to work with me? And if I can't show that, we just part as friends. Get an upfront agreement. Because with that, and I sit down with a doctor or I sit down with an engineer, once I've showed them that it's cheaper, it's better, it's superior, you agreed to work with me on this. Help me understand why you've changed your mind. I don't need to get you one more illustration. I've already showed it to you. Once again, I'm going to start playing with, they trust, and one of the most important parts are here, they are very skeptical to begin with. They're all about precision. They are very much critical against slipshod methods or being wrong. So if we can set the upfront bet, if I can show you my process is better than yours, will you agree to work with me? Yes. And that's how you overcome those people. Once again, these are the kinds of things that I'm trying to help everybody understand in our communication process. I'm always reviewing this. Every quarter, I try and come back to this, try and practice this more, try and bring it back in and really revisit this so that I'm practicing what I'm telling you. I'm not just telling this for everybody. This is for me too. How do I practice this and get better at this? Okay. So with that, I'm just going to say this. You can learn from your sales or lack thereof, or you can continue staying dumb, which requires persistence. But I'll just say growing smarter requires change. The same thing we're asking of all of our clients. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to learn from your lack of sales or from lost opportunities? You willing to go the extra mile and spend a little bit more time practicing stuff that seems very basic, that seems very much, well, a no-brainer? Yeah. How many of you practice it? When was the last time you spent, like I said, an hour, 2 hours listening to somebody talk about ethos, pathos, and logos, learning about how to tell a story? What are the components? What do you need in that story to be a persuasive speaker? When was the last time you understood how to communicate with different personality types? What are they looking for? What words do they need to hear? How do I need to, the presentation will be the same presentation, but it's how the words I'm using that's going to change between the different personality types. What do I need to say to close this deal, to communicate? Because I know what I'm providing is the best solution I can do for my clients. They don't know that. How do I communicate that? That's where the disconnect is between the sales opportunities and the sales that are being closed. So the better you are as a communicator, your sales will go up. Your pay raise is effective when you are. That's what my dad used to tell me all the time. So I want everybody to become effective. I want everybody's pays to go up. So Clayton, I know that was a whole lot, and I'm sorry if it was overwhelming to some people, but do you have anything you would like to add, Clayton?
No, Peter, what you shared today is extremely important. Just taking that moment to listen to the customer, and at the same time, tailor your message to the type of customer. That's important, I have found. Where I've seen folks struggle, Peter, is it's not necessarily the message that sucks, it's the delivery.
Yes.
And so, what I have made it a point to do in my life, in my personal decisions, my professional decision making, and just life in general, is if I pause in between thought and reaction, what I gain in return is wisdom.
Hmm.
So, just stopping to think and analyze the situation instead of shooting from the hip. Stopping just to slow down and think for a moment. That's what's important. And the other thing too is asking a lot of questions is important, but knowing the type of question to ask is even more important.
Yes.
Are you asking questions that's going to result in a yes or no answer? Or are you asking open-ended questions that's going to result in an explanation? That's also important too. Knowing how to ask a question. That's what's key. And so, Peter, what I like about today is you're taking the time to educate everybody on the psychological side of what goes into the sales process that not many folks talk about in this business. And that's what's key to helping folks find success. So good stuff today.
I appreciate it. Listen, I want everybody to understand, why are we even talking about this? I can show you opportunities. I can teach you about products. The technical is not hard. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a geek on this, okay? The technical is not hard. But what I'm asking you to do is to invest in yourself. Invest in the knowledge of becoming a more efficient communicator. If you don't want to make sales, don't learn this trade craft. Don't learn how to talk to people. Please continue doing what you're doing. Do you want to become a better, more proficient salesperson? Learn from other successful people. Listen, we are we're complicated on the one hand, but we're very, very basic, right? The personality types, we've reduced it down to 4 personality types. That's not a lot of diversity out there, right? Even though you can meet people from different parts of the world, they're going to come down to those 4 personality types. That's what I love about this. We don't have to come up with 1,000 different formulas. We need to learn 4 really well. We need to know how to make this work if we're dealing with one of these 4 personalities or a blended, right? There's still going to be a dominant trait that comes out. Learning how to address that, you're going to be able to talk to somebody. When you say income, they're going to hear income. When you say protection, certainty, guarantee, they're going to hear all those words. The people who are very successful in this business are the storytellers, not the analysts. Try as much as you can to become a more proficient storyteller and stop trying to sell off the illustrations, because there's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statisticians, or in my version, there's lies, damn lies, and illustrations. The illustrations have been so nerfed by compliance. They're not a reality, folks. They are not a reality. You need to learn that. You need to know that. If they only allow us to show a 1% spread between the loan rate and the assumed performance on the product, is that a reality, Clayton?
Not particularly.
Not particularly. No, it's not. If we have indexes like with Athene, some of the new AI indexes, but because we don't have a track record of 20 plus years, we can't illustrate that to our clients. They can still put the money in it if you buy the contract. You can still choose that bucket as an allocation, but we can't illustrate it in some states. Other states will allow you to illustrate it. Does that make sense to anybody? That's right. That's a lie. They want us to push that. I'm telling you right now, you need to become a storyteller and do what you can to pitch to your clients the messaging that they need to hear, and it's not the illustration. The illustration backs up and supports what you're saying, but the illustration must not be the key component that you base the whole sales transaction off of, or it will go away when a better storyteller shows up. So that's it in closing. I appreciate everyone's time so much today. If there's any questions, we can field those now. And those of you who have to go, I understand. So the floor is open if anybody has a question or comment.
Does Clayton
think,
actually think the Pacers are going to win the championship?
Michelle, I'm just going to stay. I'm going to stay optimistic with it. All it takes is, obviously, as they showed last night, you need to have the lead for about less than half a second. And when they finally took a lead with less than half a second to go, that's all that really mattered. So I'm optimistic. So, yep, go Pacers.
Well, if the Cubs can win a World Series, the Pacers can win an NBA championship.
I think the
You know, the
Pacers have
Cubs winning the
already
World
won one,
Series-
haven't they?
No,
Pacers
No,
not
they
an
have
never?
NBA
not.
championship.
The Cubs winning the World Series, that just goes to show that the sun can certainly, shine on a dog's ass on a cloudy day. So anything's possible in this world, in my opinion.
It is back to business. Anything is possible. You too can become a successful insurance professional.
Peter, can you share the PowerPoint presentation you had today? Because it was very beneficial. And a lot of the things I knew, but I forgot about it. And I'd like to kind of start sharpening my saw to get that storytelling going where it needs to be.
Give me by the end of today, I should be able to get that out to everybody. I'm going to change a couple things that spell checks. I mean, I was up till 10 30, 45 ish working on it. So it was a little late. So some things need to be polished up there. I'll fix a couple of things and I'll get it out to you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it. I'm
Step, Peter.
just trying to put it out there, everybody. Look, this is it's good to remind ourselves. You know, other people that we've worked with in the past, they wanted to do the same presentation over and over again, expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. Let's stop being insane about this. Let's make some changes in our practices. Does anybody know what the average life insurance agent makes in this country? For
32,000.
32,000. Can anybody tell me what the average
Dang, I didn't know I was
professional
that
makes?
good. How much of what?
Financial professional makes?
Over 100,000.
Oh, well, what's the difference, Michelle?
They're professionals.
Communication, Michelle.
I
Communication.
see.
The licensed financial professional has a life insurance license, has a health insurance license, does all the things that we do.
Not
You have
necessarily
all
the
the license.
message, it's the delivery.
That's it. That's the difference. That's what I want everybody to hear. This is all about how you're presenting yourself to clients. Okay. Are you the life insurance agents that's worth $35,000 a year? Or are you the financial professional that can come in and help people with real problems, real challenges, and service their needs for life? That's the difference. We have to stop selling ourselves short on just taking care of one piece of the pie. 3/4 of the pie you can help them with. You just need to learn the proper terminology and the right carrier tools to use to be able to address that. If you don't take care of it for your clients, somebody else will. They need these services. They need estate planning. They need financial planning. They need retirement planning. They need death benefit protection. They need health insurance, right? They need. The people are needy. What they need most is somebody to communicate that they can help them. Put on the life jacket, jump in the water. I'll just end with that.